Royals are in action. Times and active 8 telecast.
High in the air to left. Hit high in the air to left field and deep. Back to the wall. It's gone.
Nobody gives you more of the great plays than Home Team Sports. Nobody gives you more of the Capitals this May as they skate their way through the Stanley Cup playoffs. You'll see every Caps home game live and exclusively on the channel you cheer for. Hockey fans are treated to the hard-hitting Wales Division Finals, the Camel and Wales Conference Finals, and the climatic Stanley Cup Championship, because nobody gives you more Stanley Cup playoff action than Home Team Sports. Fast action continues when HDS takes fans to the racetrack for the Miller, Nazareth, and Charlotte Grand National, plus other racing action all month long, plus exclusive live coverage of BMW's Virginia Gold Cup. As many as 44 main events this May.
The nation hails a great American. The Big Twin is back at Hardee's, accompanied by new Crispy Curls fries. It's a classic taste with a new twist. Thousands cheer the big taste of 2 burgers, lettuce, cheese, and Big Twin sauce. Hundreds thrill at the specially seasoned Crispy Curls. Yes, America, the Big Twin is back, but only at Hardee's. And right now, you can get the Big Twin for an incredible 99 cents plus tax. That's right, just 99 cents. So hurry to Hardee's.
This graph shows that your car can drive better with Texaco's System 3 gasoline. In the BMW test, ordinary gasoline built up valve deposits, but System 3 actually took them away. Tank after tank, valves got cleaner and cleaner. As for performance, after 5 tanks, it gets even better.
A view of the U.S. Capitol, downtown Washington, D.C. It is the road to the Stanley Cup here on Home Team Sports. Caps lead the series, but trail on the scoreboard tonight by a score of 1-0 after 1 period of play. Backed by popular demand, Channel 9's outstanding sportscaster Glenn Brenner, who has done his homework. We don't want to make fun of him, saying that he's here only for the Stanley Cup playoffs. The man has done his homework on the Stanley Cup playoffs of the Washington Capitals in 1989-90. I'm impressed.
Well, in keeping with that hockey spirit, you know, I kid around about my hockey knowledge. But, you know, I played a little hockey in my time.
What are you trying to tell me?
No, I'm serious. I mean, and this is documentation. Let me show you.
He's got the scouting report and inside hockey.
No. My first stop was in Moose Jaw, up there in Saskatchewan. Then I went to Medicine Hat.
Medicine Ball.
Then I came out with Montreal in '57. Now I only can get a shot of that. This is my first. I was the first guy in the NHL to have his own poster.
Hold on a second.
Take a look right.
Oh my God, you fraud! What a fraud!
Yeah, there I am in the. That's the first National Hockey League poster ever to come out. And then I got traded in '62. I got traded to Detroit. I think we got that coming up next. You see me. You'll see me in action. You see me right there. Notice where I'm playing. In those days, you had to play without a mask. So I used to play behind the net. You give up a lot of goals, but there's saves a lot of wear and tear on you.
Why is this just coming?
Well, you know, it's not something you want to come in and just, you know, I did my first appearance on your show last time around. You want to just come in and drop all this on the audience the first time out. Then, of course, you have the 1988-89 scouting report, and I'm in there right there. I don't know if you can pan down. You know, they list the goalie's weaknesses. And their areas of where they're vulnerable. Okay. Well, I don't know if you can see mine there. I guess you can go down on that a little bit, but you hold it up here. I got a complete area of. I'm pretty vulnerable all the way around when I play like that. But I had a position. What hurt me a lot of times was my defensive position. Sorry, my defensive position. A lot of guys like to be up front, kind of like this. In front of the thing like that. Mine was basically a position. Well, there you see some of my stats right there.
Played for Moose Jaw, Medicine Hat.
Yeah.
Can you say the next one?
I don't have my glasses.
Trois-Rivières.
That's what I would have said. Yeah.
Parlez-vous en français?
I had trouble pronouncing it while I was there. It caused me a lot of problems with the locals.
And Swift Current formed a committee to define the term icing.
Right.
And the head designer of National Hockey League goal lines. I'm speechless. What can I do
have a hockey history, unbeknownst to a lot of people. And you got great shoulders for this job. Did I tell you that? Anyway, you know, my position...
age? What is your age, Glenn?
I am 28 years old.
NHL who? And acquired as a last resort.
Exactly. I was for the proverbial stick to be named later.
There's only one way that we're going to prove to the audience that you, in fact, do have a hockey background. You're welcome to join us. Glenn Brenner, and here's truly Jeff Rimmer, 301-499-6600. Yes, we'll take your questions and comments. Glenn now informs us he does have a hockey background, so it's only right you call with your technical question.
Fire away.
Glenn from Waldorf, welcome. Hello, Tim.
Much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Wait, Glenn, turn down your radio, please.
Tim.
it's not on.
Okay.
This is television, Glenn. New medium to you.
Whatever.
Well, Glenn, everyone thought the Capitals would have their hands full against the Rangers, and it turns out to be not the case. What do you think that they've done both offensively and defensively to tame the Rangers?
Good question.
First of all, I think they do have their hands full with the Rangers right now. And if you went into the Rangers dressing room, they'd agree. I mean, this is a pretty tough first period. This is a different Ranger team we're seeing tonight than we saw the last two games. I mean, these guys can out fire it up because they believe if they don't win tonight, this thing's over.
What's Roger Nielsen telling the Rangers right now after that first 20 minutes? And conversely, what's Terry Murray telling the Cap troops?
I'll go ask. He's Roger Nielsen's telling him, just keep doing what you're doing, I'm sure. And Terry's saying, who wants to call Glenn? No, Terry's over there telling me, I don't think the Caps are playing that badly. Or badly at all, as a matter of fact. They missed a couple they hit the post, and then they missed an open, and Courtnall misses an open net right there.
Richard, you're on Home Team Sports with the hockey maven, Glenn Brenner.
Well, Glenn, since you're such a great hockey star that you are, what's the toughest team that you ever faced?
I would have to say the Moose Jaw team in '48.
No, you played with Moose Jaw.
Well, we played against them. I got traded. I got traded to Medicine Ball, and then
Medicine Hat, not Ball.
I got traded to Medicine Ball. That's what I figured. That was in '46. So, and then we went back and played Moose Jaw. And when a player comes back after he's been traded, they turned on me.
Now I know about all those scars.
Exactly.
Let's continue on the phone lines at 301-499-6600.
All of a sudden, I thought I was at the Masters for a second. Wow, I was watching a putt.
Let's go to Frederick, Maryland. You're on Home Team Sports with Glenn. Yes, I used to play hockey, Brenner. Hello.
Actually,
go ahead.
Hello.
I'm going ahead. Jeff and Glenn, good evening.
Good evening.
My question is, Jeff Courtnall's breakaway the other night against Mike Richter, when he was pulled down, it was obvious to me that it should have been a penalty shot. One, Glenn, if you were the referee, would you have given him the penalty shot? Number two, do you think it was not called because of maybe it's the playoffs and they felt he should have earned it more?
I'll tell you, I can't believe that an official missed that call. The guy clearly tried to trip him with his stick. But you see, the more you watch the game, you see this call missed on both of them. These guys, you're watching it from a high angle. You get to see everything. These guys are on the floor, and there's guys flying.
No, it's ice.
Well, ice. Well, is there a floor under it? I hope. They're not playing on a pond, are they? So, I mean, you would hope that, that they'd make the right calls. But guys, it's like football referees. They miss a lot of stuff because they're not sitting high. They don't have the replays. That was a bad call. But, the Caps could have been called for hooking on that Ranger guy going down there late in the first period. It was on the arm with that. Give me that a minute.
Craig from Hartsburg.
I come from Mars. What is this guy talking about?
Craig from Hartsburg. You're Hyattsville, excuse me.
Very crisp hand-painted tie on there tonight, by the way.
Well, go ahead.
Hey, Glenn, I just wanted to say that you're one of the best sports announcers on the news in this area.
Well, thank you. There's only 4, but thank you.
Yeah, well, you remind me of Warner Wolf in New York.
Thank you.
That's not a compliment.
No, that is a compliment.
No, that is a compliment.
That is a compliment. No question about it. That is a compliment.
All right, see you later.
Well, that was an easy one.
All right, we've got to get some tough questions here for this guy. Let's continue on those phone lines, 301-499-6600. Jason, you're on from Burke, Virginia.
Jason? You don't mean
the guy with the mask?
Yeah. He's calling every night.
Come on, Jason.
How do you get started as an NHL referee?
How do you get started as an NHL referee? I think you...
he hasn't done that yet.
You go to a place like Medicine Ball. You start working the
Medicine Hat.
Medicine Ball. You start working those minor league games, and then you work your way up. I think that's how everybody does it. That was an easy one.
All our lines are open, 301-499-6600. You've just blown everybody away with this knowledgeable hockey stuff.
I've come out of the NHL closet tonight, buddy. I'm
surprised you didn't save this for Gordon Peterson.
No, well, he's next.
He's next. How come he hasn't called?
I'm sure he's trying to get through.
Neil.
They all are.
Hello, Neil.
I want to know if Glenn feels that this cut rule, I thought hockey was a man's sport. Now they draw a little blood, they look in your mouth, they see a drop of blood, and they call a 5-minute major. Just wondering what Glenn felt about that.
Well, I don't care if hockey's a man's sport no matter how they play it. I mean, so the cut rule wouldn't change my opinion of that. These are tough guys out there. I think they're trying to cut down on the cheap shots, and I think my own personal opinion about hockey is that the excessive, unnecessary violence cheapens the sport. I think when it gets too, a fight's a fight, but I mean, sometimes I think, you know, the game's better than that. And I think that what they're trying to do is police the game a little bit more. And I think that's a good move.
Glenn, we've got baseball on Home Team Sports tomorrow night. Can you bring your pictures and postcards tomorrow night? Let us know about your baseball background.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. You know, I am the only pitcher in the history of the New York Met organization, this is the truth, to ever hit the on-deck batter. That's the God's honest truth. I did that in spring training game, slipped off the mound, hit the guy on deck.
And that's why you only tell us now about his hockey background. Stay tuned. We've got more of our first intermission. Glenn Brenner, thank you. Caps hockey ahead on Home Team Sport.
Right now, Safeway is selling postage stamps for less than face value.
Is that legal?
Just buy a Safeway Stamp Savers book. You get 12 stamps that cost you $3 at the post office, but only $2.70 at Safeway.
That's not legal, is it?
Plus coupons on famous brands for valuable savings.
Does the Postmaster General know about this?
Actually, yes. The Stamp Savers book, in cooperation with the U.S. Postal Service. Only at Safeway.
I got a gun. Give me a watch, a wallet. Give me everything.
It's not just another television show.
Help me! Somebody!
Before you went down, was his voice coming from above, or was it coming from below?
It's a no-holds-barred look
I don't know. It happened so fast.
at the real world of big city law.
A woman gets murdered on the street in front of an assistant district attorney, and you can't get a murder indictment?
How many times could we have stopped him before he killed her?
Equal Justice, tonight on ABC television.
Subway makes a BMT and it's my way. The BMT's got a spicy secret at Subway. It's got 6-inch crisp and cool as ice. What's that secret? Slice of spice. That secret taste is just one way. Subway, my way. Subway, there's a secret to the BMT at Subway, my way. Subway, spice the way it ought to be at Subway.
Advantage Jeep vehicles. Others copy, none compare. Advantage Eagle. New looks in performing art. Advantage Savings. Guaranteed cash back on Jeep Cherokees. New Eagle Premieres. Hot new Eagle Challenges. And Jeep Wranglers. During the Guaranteed Advantage Sell-a-thon, the only advantage you don't have is time.
See your National Capital Area Jeep and Eagle dealer, where you can expect the best. Capitals game coverage on Home Team Sports is brought to you by Safeway. Come see the difference at Safeway. Well, the Rangers have a 1-0 lead over the Capitals after one period of play here in Game 4 of the Patrick Division Finals. Mike Fornes and Al Koken welcoming you once again here to our Stanley Cup coverage on Home Team Sports. Well, a first period that I think the Caps would have had to have almost performed a miracle to me to come back and have played a period that was anything like the 3 they played the other night. Now, if they can come back and do something better than what they did in the first period, they're going to be in great shape in this game. If they fall off from here, New York's going to win.
I agree with you. And remember, too, as well as the Capitals played in Game 3, they had just about every bounce go their way. Tonight, they didn't. Stephen Leach in a goal post. Jeff Courtnall not being able to get the puck up enough to get it over a fallen Mike Richter. They had their chances to at least get the equalizer, but give the New York Rangers credit for doing what you knew they had to do. Come out and play like a hungry, desperate team, and they were a much more physical presence in that first period.
Let's take a look right now at the shot chart. Washington outshot the Rangers 8-6, and here are the 8 Washington shots, but no goals. Everything over on the right side.
Exactly, everything over the right side, which will tell you things aren't coming in from that left side, but also you're looking at it, not a lot of shots there right in front of Richter, and the shots that he was able to handle, obviously Jeff Courtnall had the best one. The one you don't see is Stephen Leach's drive from high up in that slot that did hit the goalpost. That's not counted as a shot on goal.
Although the Rangers had only 6 shots on goal, they're the team that's in the driver's seat right now on the scoreboard at 1-0. Let's take a look at their shot chart and show you where those 6 came from. And the goal, of course, was from Troy Millette through a crowd.
Well, it is not officially a power play goal, but it literally is the second that the penalty to Dale Hunter expires. That's when Troy Millette puts it in. They've got a power play up to that point. And we'll show you what happens. The Capitals get their coverage to break down a little bit. Right up here, Troy Millette is back there tied up for a moment with Kevin Hatcher. Now here's Rod Langway. He's got his eye on the puck, and this man, Bernie Nichols. Mike Gardner's behind him, so what happens is Mike Ridley comes down to cover up. But watch what happens when everybody starts to face the goal line and nobody worries about the men behind them. See, Kevin Hatcher starts to move down. Now stop it right here. You've got Gartner battling Ridley in front. The puck is going to come out, and keep your eye on Millette. It literally just sneaks right back through to him, and there's a crowd of people in front of Mike Liut. Goes off the skate of Gartner right out to Millette, and he rips it off bodies through all that traffic to get it on goal. Well, before the start of the second period, let's head downstairs and check in with Jeff Rimmer.
Thanks, Al. Team's back out on the ice. The Capitals want to pick it up a notch. Obviously, as this game started, a lot of people wondering the Capitals could play with that same similar type of motion. Very tight game. Obviously, we're not going to see the number of goals that we saw the other night, or perhaps even earlier on in the series. But it should be an interesting period. The Caps by no means out of this one. Bear in mind, though, teams that score the first goal have, for the majority in the playoffs, gone on to win the games. The Capitals certainly have won every game that they've scored the first goal of the hockey game. Mike Fornes and Al Koken situated to bring you the play-by-play of period number 2. Let's go back upstairs.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. You talk about those records. The Rangers, when leading after one period, 4-0. When trailing, they are 0-2. When the Capitals lead after one period, they are 5-0. When they are trailing, they are 0-3. So it would certainly bode well for the New York Rangers.
All set to go at center ice as Darren Turcotte will lean in to work the draw against Rob Murray. And Murray wins the faceoff and brings it back now to Kevin Hatcher. Cleared back inside the New York zone and out to center ice. Moeller overskates it, now has to go back and get the puck and leads it all the way to center across 2 lines. That was a 2-line pass, no whistle on it. The puck taken back by Washington's Rob Murray and clears it on into the Ranger zone. Rochefort up the boards. Out to Turcotte. Long slap shot wide of Liut and into the corner again for Rod Langway. Out to center ice. Patrick works it over to Nichols. Nichols to Millette. Off the stick of James Patrick, he clears into the Washington zone, and Langway lobs it all the way down back into the Ranger end. Just underway with period number 2. Capitals trailing the Rangers 1-0 after Troy Millette scored a first period goal. Gartner dumps it back inside the Washington zone. Here's Bob Rouse back to get it. Up the left wing boards now for Kelly Miller. Miller works to center ice. 3-on-3 at the blue line. The pass to Ridley. Ridley hit by 2 Rangers, Moeller and Millette. And the play called offside anyway. Now Millette gets his stick up on Steve Leach, who stepped in there and had something to say about it. Bob Rouse bumping Millette from behind.
Millette has certainly been an unbelievable factor this entire series. With his overall play, he's had some good offensive moments. He certainly has probably been the most consistent of all the hitting forwards the New York Rangers have had. He certainly may have taken some questionable penalties, but at the same time, you can't deny his presence, and he's got the Capitals stirred up. A lot of people paying attention to where Troy Millette is, and when you've got 2 dangerous players like Nichols and Gartner for Millette to work with, one, he's going to find room, as he did on that power play goal, or that essentially power play goal that got the Rangers started, and the other thing, he's going to create a lot of room for the speed of Nichols and Gartner to start maneuvering when he gets all the attention with his physical play.
Kelly Miller pinned as he crosses the line, and Steve Leach to the corner gets bumped but keeps going. Now Ridley jamming up with Rochefort. Millette in to throw a hit, and the Rangers again take possession. Here's Mike Gartner back to center ice. Scott Stevens works it ahead on the left wing side. Mike Ridley into the corner after it. But Richter is out of the goal and makes the play to the corner. Now Gartner has it knocked free. Back to Bernie Nichols. Nichols skates to center ice. Flips it ahead on the right wing. Gartner cutting in behind the goal. And to the corner. Back to the point. Slap shot goes wide from Mark Hardy. Now chased, and Courtnall picks it up and skates to center. Here's Courtnall across the blue line over to Dale Hunter. Hunter trying to get loose and flips it into the corner. Good hit there thrown by John Druce as he bumped James Patrick off the puck. But Erickson starts the rush again for New York to center ice. Erickson back into the Washington zone. The Capitals' Neil Sheehy. Taken away, and here's a drive on goal, and Liut makes the stop on Brock. Druce in the corner without a stick. Langway tumbles to the ice and pulls Erickson with it. The puck cleared back to center. The Rangers have had the only shot so far here in the second period. We've played 3 minutes. Langway leads it out to center, to Druce across the blue line. Druce sends it toward the front of the goal, and Courtnall was held up there by Lindy Ruff right at the side of the net. Now Hunter in behind his centers it, gives to Johansson a shot, and a save made by Richter. Rebound knocked wide into the corner. Back to the point for Courtnall. Over to John Druce, a backhand shot blocked. And the Rangers finally take possession of the puck, and as they do, Dennis Farrell blows the whistle and calls a holding penalty against the Rangers' Ron Greschner. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on Home Team Sports.
So, Gary, tell me, is it true? If I drive an Acura, will I buy an Acura?
Hey, come on, look, I've driven them all, and nothing comes close to the Acura. But don't get me started about this car. You'll never believe it until you really drive one. Told you so.
Be careful, because if you drive the Acura, you're going to buy the Acura. The car sells itself.
The sold-out Capital Center crowd cheering on the Capital power play unit. They've got another crack at it because of the holding call to Ron Greschner at 3:29. Another good shift from that Hunter Courtnall-Druce line. Some good chance to watch Calle Johansson sneaking in. Another strong save by Richter as Johansson gets 2 whacks at it, and then Greschner gets whistled down for holding.
Johansson has to chase this one out of the zone, and he'll start from center ice. Over to Steve Leach. Leach across the line, off the stick of Johansson to the corner. Bob Joyce in to bump Rochefort. Back to the point. Johansson keeps it in play. Now to Mike Ridley. Here's Ridley in the corner. Back to the blue line. Johansson has it there. Tees it up. And passes off. Now here's Joyce's shot. That's wide. Taken by Leach in the corner. Steve Leach to the blue line. Johansson a slap shot. Deflected just wide. Richter made the save. Cleared off the boards and all the way back into the Washington zone. Here's a lead pass from Johansson to Ridley. Ridley goes right side. Calle Johansson over to Kevin Hatcher. Erickson forechecking the pass into the skates of Ridley. And Erickson again steals at center ice. Leachway is able to work it loose. Gets away from Nichols. To Hatcher. To Stevens, a slap shot. Pad save made by Richter. And Joyce went barreling over the New York goaltender. But the puck touched with a high stick, and there'll be a face-off in the Ranger zone with 48 seconds left on the Greschner penalty.
Boy, Mike Richter has been dynamite. There you see Mark Hardy taking care of Leach for the most part, but Stevens with that bullet. And there's that traffic in front. Stephen Leach cuffs Richter to the head, and Hardy runs Leach then down to the ice. Dennis Farrell making the call that the puck was played with a high stick. This face-off still in the Ranger end. Dale Hunter to take this draw with 48 seconds left to go.
Pretty good first period for Mark Hardy, I thought. Coming back from that injury, kept him out of this entire series. Here's Hunter to the corner, being slashed by James Patrick. Drops the puck off for Druce. Here's Druce trying to center. Gets loose in front of the goal to Hunter, and taken back by the Rangers and cleared all the way to the point. But not out, kept in by Hatcher. Kevin Hatcher, wrist shot, save made by Richter. Now back to Druce in the corner. Hunter trying to dig it loose and finally decides to let it set underneath Druce, calling for a stoppage in play. And because Druce held the puck, they are ruling now that the faceoff will be held outside the blue line.
John Druce was kind of knocked down on top of the puck with Patrick pinning him there. The story of the Capitals series against the New York Rangers really can be summed up in the play of John Druce. 8 goals during the regular season, 9 in the playoffs. Coming in with those amazing totals. And if you go back into the regular season, Mike, John Druce has 12 goals in his last 13 games. Now he'll come off the ice as Terry Murray, for the final 21 seconds of the power play, changes up with Joyce, Leach, Ridley. Stevens will stay out there to work one point with Hatcher the other.
Rangers get the draw, and Rochefort slams it all the way down the ice. Here's Hatcher back to pick it up. Mike Ridley backs it up for Scott Stevens. Gets away from Ridley and out to center, where the Rangers again return play to the Washington zone. Stevens to Hatcher. Both clubs at full strength. Here's Gartner to Nichols. Right in front, a pass off the post. A shot by Millette, who is gunning for his second goal of the game. Back out to center ice, and it's stolen again by Millette. He's hit by Stevens. Capitals have to slow Millette down. Here's Hatcher. Spinning out to Joyce. Joyce to center. Dumps it across the line. Washington wants a line change. And here is Richter to play it up the boards. Pass to Mullen, right wing side for Nichols. Nichols across the blue line, shoots, hits the post, and bouncing behind Liut. He turns and gets rid of it, and there'll be a Washington penalty call. That puck eluded Mike Liut and hit the goal post and bounced right up behind him. And Dennis Morel has stopped play with 13:46 to go in the second period.
Give me your watch, your wallet, give me everything.
It's not just another television show.
Help me! Somebody!
Before you went down, was his voice coming from above, or was it coming from below?
It's a no-holds-barred look
I don't know. It happened so fast.
at the real world of big city law.
A woman gets murdered on the street in front of an assistant district attorney, and you can't get a murder indictment?
How many times could we have stopped him before he killed her?
Equal Justice tonight on ABC television.
Well, now Dennis Morel is on the phone to the goal judge behind Mike Liut. Well, he's not giving the New York Rangers a goal, but there was plenty of discussion there. Let's take one more look at it. Troy Millette, as the Capitals coughed up the puck under the great forechecking pressure. There's the shot. That's the Nichols drive, not the Millette shot that hit the crossbar. Rod Langway then finishes off Bernie Nichols, gets a holding call. Now here's the earlier scoring chance. With Millette coming in, sending that shot off metal. The Rangers a little bit angry. I think they're still arguing about that. They thought they had a goal. Certainly no goal light came on. Dennis Morel did not make any signal, although his linesmen, Ron Finn and Wayne Bonney, did come over to talk to Morel as he was over to the penalty, or the scorekeeper, to talk about the penalty to Langway. Let's take one more look at it, Mike.
I thought the puck hit the right post as Liut looked at it. Now we can't see through Liut's body, so you can't tell what it actually hit from that shot, but I thought it hit that post and bounced right out behind Liut.
Well, the Rangers will have a power play and a chance to increase their lead. They are buzzing right now, though those two chances they had do not register on the shot clock. Right now they've had 2 shots on goal in this period, while the Washington Capitals have responded with 5, but those 2 great opportunities, pucks getting past Liut to find only the goalpost. Maybe those are some of the bounces the Capitals are going to need to get back in this hockey game. This is a big penalty kill right now, particularly with Rod Langway in the penalty box.
At the point, here's Turcotte, a drive, a save by Liut, the rebound grabbed by the Rangers. Mullen with the puck in the corner. Holding on, now throws it behind the net, back into the corner again for Brian Mullen. At the point, James Patrick rushed on the play, throws it along the boards, and Scott Stevens is able to pick it up. He leads it ahead to Mike Ridley. Here comes Ridley across the blue line, 1-on-3. And Ridley backs it up now to Scott Stevens to take up more time. Ahead to Miller. Deeper into Washington ice. And some good penalty killing here as Bob Rouse clears it all the way down. Down to a minute 15 remaining in the Langway call. Turcotte fires into the Washington zone. Druce has it knocked away. Here's a shot stopped by Liut. Rebound. Scooped up by Liut's glove, and he holds on.
Brian Mullen taking exception to the way John Druce sent him to the ice. Scott Stevens steps in. Now Kissio and Hatcher have something going. Two very small New York Ranger forwards when you compare them to Hatcher, Stevens, and John Druce. But again, showing you the feisty approach that the Rangers have taken to this game.
Going to be penalty calls here again.
Mullen and Stevens now apparently heading off. Watch Mike Liut. Now, when he stops this shot, he tries to play it out to Scott Stevens, but it gets by Stevens, and that's where Mullen comes in. Knocked down to the ice by both Druce and Stevens, and to the left of the screen, that's where the altercation begins. Stevens and Mullen in the box.
New York number 19, Ryan Mullen. 2 minutes for slashing. For the Capitals, number 3, Scott Stevens. 2 minutes for kneeing. Time of the calls, 7:11.
2 minutes for kneeing to Scott Stevens. 2 minutes for slashing to Mullen.
There's one we haven't seen in a couple of years.
It's been a while.
Rod Langway still with a minute 3 to serve on his penalty. So two of the most dominating Capitals penalty-killing defensemen in the penalty box. Rouse and Hatcher will do the work right now.
Here's a break. Kelly Miller to the center line. Gets inside the Ranger zone. Looks for a pass. Finds Ridley. A shot saved by Richter. And back come the Rangers. On the power play, still with 45 seconds to go in their man advantage. Liut guides it behind the net. The puck cleared to the corner again for Miller. Ridley tries to dig it loose. It comes behind the goal, and here's Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher bumped on the play. The puck comes over to Miller, and he angles it off the boards and all the way down. Here's a break. Turcotte roaring in, but fires high and wide. Back to the point for Nichols. 14 seconds left in the Langway penalty, and a shot kicked out by Liut. Back to center ice. Here's Randy Moeller. He goes left side, and Rochefort dumps it in. Penalty's over. Langway's back, and has the puck now in the Washington zone. Gartner trips him up, tries to wrap it around. Langway recovers. Rod Langway leads it ahead to Tim Berglund. Here's Berglund across the blue line, and his pass for Druce. Druce was headed to the bench for a replacement. Here's Brutt. Taken away by Rouse. And out of the zone to center. Hunter across the line. 2-on-1. A pass, a shot, and a save by Richter. Richter has been big in the New York net. A hit right in front of the Washington bench. There'll be a penalty call here as Broughton is hooked to the ice. And the Capitals touch the puck, and once again, Washington will be shorthanded as the Rangers will continue on the power play. A hooking call, or high sticking call, coming here against Washington. And Jeff Courtnall is headed into the penalty box.
It's strange. I can't pick up anything.
Still, huh?
Cold filtered, never heat pasteurized, Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Jeff Courtnall, in your picture there, called for high sticking at 9:06 as he has the puck stripped away from him by Broughton. Gets the stick up in the face. Broughton sells it quite a bit. Gets the penalty call against him.
He was lucky it wasn't more. Lucky he wasn't injured.
Here's Hunter sending a Bertland. That shot delivered quickly, but once again, right in perfect position for it is Mike Richter, who has stopped all 15 Washington shots. The Ranger power play, more than half the time tonight in the Capital zone. Officially, nothing to show for it. But remember that Troy Millette goal at 10:41 of the first period came exactly the second Dale Hunter stepped out of the penalty box for Washington in that first period.
Al, if Jeff Courtnall had caused an injury on that play, he would have been out of this game, and we're at the halfway point. It's his second stick-related injury to the head or face. He would have been out of Friday's game as well. And the same referee, Dennis Morrell, called it against him in Game 1 of the New Jersey series.
In that crazy game that had 3 players ejected for stick fouls, in that game against the New Jersey Devils. Game 1, but the Capitals were victorious.
The high sticking calls add up in the playoffs for suspensions. The regular season ones don't count towards suspensions from the playoffs. Here's Langway in behind the goal and clears it off the glass and out of the zone to center ice. James Patrick tosses it over to Mark Hardy. Right side for Patrick. Now out to center ice and Ogrodnik. John Ogrodnik back to Mark Hardy. Patrick dumps it in. Hatcher tries to clear it out. It's kept in. Hatcher reaching for it, but Ogrodnik centers off the stick of Patrick. Taken now by Miller and cleared out of the zone. Kissio on the right wing, gets across the blue line and leads it for Millette. And Sheehy nails him to the boards. The puck behind the goal for Gartner. He fires. Liut the save. Rebound. And Millette is stopped by Mike Liut. Centering pass, just missing Gartner's stick. At the point, Moeller a drive. Gartner back after it. Kissio, checked by Langway. Gartner comes over for the puck, and now Kissio tripping up Rod Langway. And Kelly Kissio, the Ranger captain, will take a minor penalty here that will result in Washington coming up with a power play advantage once Courtnall returns to the ice just 28 seconds from now.
It's always sunshine fresh in the produce department at Giant.
A tripping call on Kelly Kissio against Rod Langway takes the Rangers off the power play. The Rangers had the Capitals running around. And Dennis Morrell says right there that Kissio tripped up Langway. But Mike Liut has kept Washington in the game with a couple dynamite saves, his best of the night. Stopping again, Troy Millette. Great quick reactions by Liut, sticking out that right pad and skate to get on the shot of Millette, who has been maybe the dominating New York Ranger tonight. He certainly has been involved in about every piece of action we've had. Showing you that tremendous size and speed combination, and he had a very nice goal. Remember when Phil Esposito drafted him, remember it was the draft that the Rangers would have had the 5th pick overall, but they traded it before that for Michel Bergeron. But with the first pick in the 2nd round, the New York Rangers picked Troy Millette. Phil Esposito said he would have been the guy I would have taken even if we held on to our 5th pick.
Scott Stevens starts out with a pass ahead now for Steve Leach. Here's Leach to the blue line. Carries into the Ranger zone. Poke check to center. Nichols starts back with Gartner. Played away by Scott Stevens. Lead pass too far for Hunter. In 3 seconds, Courtnall comes back on the ice. Here's Stevens across the blue line. Nichols comes up with a puck, and Washington now has the power play. Here's a slap shot. Liut to save. And Courtnall in the corner after it. Rangers change the lines up. Washington has the man advantage now, and the Caps need to get on the board. Courtnall clears the puck all the way into the corner, and it goes over the glass and into the seats.
appearance Mike Liut had the other night certainly had to help him. Had to be struggling just a bit with his confidence. Certainly, in a couple of the games he lost, the Capitals did not play well in front of him. Game 1 in particular, but coming in the other night for Don Beaupre, walking into the game at the 3:16 mark of the first period, Mike Liut then only beaten on a shorthanded breakaway by Paul Broughton, strong the rest of the way, and certainly seems to be playing very, very well tonight. The shots are even right now at 15 apiece, but the Rangers still with the 1-0 lead. Caps now with 1:10 to go on their power play.
Here's Courtnall's pass on the right wing to John Druce. Druce walking into Courtnall, and he sent it just wide. Hunter was right there looking for the pass, but couldn't get to it. Now Erickson takes it back to center ice, inside the Washington zone. Scott Stevens back to play it. We have 55 seconds to go in the Capitals power play. A lead pass beyond Johansson out to center ice. James Patrick turns it around back inside the Washington end. The Rangers again change up, and here comes Stevens to center. Johansson, long pass into the skates of Druce. And whacked all the way down by Mullen. Liut a pass ahead to Stevens. Now to Courtnall. Courtnall right wing side. Leach into the corner. Leach chased on the play, jammed up. And stolen by Broughton and pushed out of the zone to center.
No point man to work with as both Calle Johansson and Scott Stevens were right in the middle of the ice.
Here's Bob Joyce back into his own zone. We're down to the final seconds of the Washington power play. Hatcher out to Joyce at center, overskates it. And Hatcher comes up with it as Broughton broke up the play. Here's Hatcher to the red line. Taken away now on a lead pass on the right wing. Broughton a slap shot, saved by Liut. Rebound chased by Hatcher to the corner. At the point, here's a drive by Hardy, and that's deflected and rises up over the glass and into the seats.
The Cold Filters Miller Genuine Draft presents What's on Tap. A look ahead here at the action on Home Team Sports tomorrow night. In the series finale between the A's and the Orioles, we'll have that for you at 7:30 p.m. Then the Seattle Mariners come into town the following evening to take on the O's. Another game for you at 7:30 p.m. Then on the 29th. Good doubleheader on tap. If there is going to be a Game 6, it'll be here at the Capitol Center at 7 p.m. That'll be preceded by the Mariner-Oriole game at 2:30. So a big weekend of action coming your way here on Home Team Sports. See this New York Ranger team beating the Capitals to so many loose pucks. Capitals almost dominated that department the other night. This New York Ranger team with a little more jump.
Here comes Sheehy to center. Off the skate of Gressner. Stolen. A shot. Tim Berglund from the right wing. The game is tied.
And a lucky bounce works the way of the Capitals. That shot is basically stopped, but Gressner can't control it. Berglund does. A bouncing puck puts it far side on Mike Richter. And Tim Berglund, Mike, I don't think there was a single Capital forward who had more scoring opportunities in the playoffs with nothing to show for it than Tim Berglund. You take it all the way back to the faceoff. John Tucker's going to control it. Capitals start up ice. Neil Sheehy works it, and he was just going to try and shoot it once he gets over the line to dump it in. And a good bounce for the Washington Capitals onto the stick of Berglund. He puts in a big goal. Caps have got life. This crowd is buzzing. We are tied up at 1.
First goal of the playoffs for Tim Berglund. Sheehy and Tucker get the assists at 13-13, and this game is tied 1-1. Caps with more pressure now in the Ranger zone. Berglund throws a hit on Mullen, and the puck cleared back to center ice. And the crowd is alive here in the Capitol Center. Off Alan May's stick, the puck comes back to the blue line, and James Patrick clears it to center. This is Mark Hardy, long slap shot that goes wide of the net. Bouncing puck in front, Liut to save, rebound, sent just wide, back to Hardy. takes the shot. Cleared to the corner. Now Tucker back to throw a hit. And Langway comes up with a puck and carries it behind the goal. Up the boards. Mullen keeps it going over to Kissio. Cleared to the point. Hardy keeps it in. Drops it into the corner again, and now Kissio trying to center it. At the side of the net, there's Tucker to steal, and he flips it all the way down. Icing is the call as Hardy gets back in time to pick it up. And there'll be a face-off now back inside the Washington zone. What a big moment for Tim Berglund, scoring his first Stanley Cup playoff goal. He got his first NHL goal earlier this year. Al Koken, he'll never forget the roar of that crowd when he put that puck in the net.
And what a big goal. You know, it's one thing to pick up your first playoff goal when the game is out of reach, an empty net or anything like that, but that is a dynamite goal at a critical moment for his hockey team. One thing, though, the Capitals, if you remember back in their victories in Games 2 and Games 3, they were able to glut New York Ranger goals with ones of their own. And to keep that momentum going the way of the New York Rangers, they are going to have to strike quickly here. But Tim Berglund answers for the Capitals, and the Rangers did come right back, had plenty of opportunities, buzzing in the Capital end. So Washington's got to make sure that they don't give the Rangers a little more life now and try and at least protect this 1-all lead to take it into the locker room with them. Or this 1-1 game, I should say, to take it into the locker room with them would be a big thing for the Capitals to do. Keep the Rangers off the board if they can't answer themselves. That's the Capital goal.
And won't he play with a lot more confidence now that he's gotten that one? A lot like John Druce, who got more confidence as the season came on, and here during the playoffs has acquired a ton of it. Berglund may be crossing the same line.
Well, you know, I think Tim Berglund has had a terrific playoffs despite the fact that this is his first goal. He's been out there on the second unit killing penalties. He has provided some strong, heavy hitting in his third and fourth line duties. So he has certainly been a factor. But when you can chip in with a couple goals, particularly when you consider, as we said, all the chances he's had, that's a great opportunity. And now
got an injured Ranger down back inside the Washington zone, and the officials are coming back to check it out. I don't think any of them saw what knocked Troy Millette down, but just knowing that it's Troy Millette, you can imagine that one of the Capitals must have taken a crack at him.
I think it was Scott Stevens. Scott Stevens and Millette, I think, were involved coming up ice, but it was behind Dennis Morrell. Morrell turned over, and now Moeller tries to come in and start something with Stevens, where Rouse quickly steps in.
Although we have had a fair number of penalties called out, this game has not been the bloodbath that we thought it might have been as we finished out Game 3, and talking about it, and over the last couple of days anticipated would happen in this contest so far tonight, but we have plenty of time left. And I don't know if this is the start of something like that, but Millette certainly has angered the Capitals with some of his hits. He's had very fine play in this game with his goal that he scored and some very important hitting that he's done. But at the same time, he has been the type of player that has gotten under the Capitals' skin.
We don't have a replay of it, so in not seeing what happened in the entanglement between Millette and Scott Stevens, awful tough to say, but you can understand why the Capitals need to pay attention to Millette, but it better be clean. And they get themselves in a situation where certainly they would get penalties, but also they just fire up a Ranger team that already seems to be at a pretty high emotional peak. Don't give them any opportunity to band together anymore. I think the Rangers are telling Millette what at least they saw. Randy Moeller feels he saw enough to have some words with Scott Stevens, so this will be something to keep an eye on. If the Rangers truly feel that Millette was felled illegally by Stevens and that Stevens has gotten off, we'll see how much they come after this man. Hey, in terms of physical contact from both sides, I think this is our best game. Each of the three games, one team has had superiority in the physical department. I think tonight, both teams recognizing that. I think you have to give a lot of credit for the way this game is being played in terms of its relatively clean play to the New York Rangers. Because it was pretty much up to them on how they wanted to come back, what kind of way they wanted to use their emotions.
Here's Kelly Miller along the boards, putting it into the corner, and right there is Nick Kypreos to try and steal. Kypreos gets a stick on it. He's held up on the play. Works it loose to Miller. Kelly Miller back of the goal now to Mike Ridley. Ridley walks in, turns around, can't get the shot off. Nichols was there to intercept. Plays it ahead to Chris King and out to center ice. Scott Stevens pokes it back to the Ranger line, and now Moeller throws it into the Washington zone. Stevens in behind the Capitals net. 1-1 the score. 4:25 to play, second period. A hit at center ice on John Druce, thrown by Nichols. And here comes King in across the blue line. Bumped by Stevens. Stevens punched in the head by King, and now Stevens knocked to the ice by Chris King. Kelly Miller starts back for Washington. There's it back inside the Ranger zone. Caps change up the lines. And here's Mark Hardy, a long right wing pass to Nichols. Out to center ice, and Courtnall takes over for Washington. Jeff Courtnall bumped at center. Here is Langway across the line to Druce. Walks in and doesn't have an angle as Patrick blocks him to the corner. Courtnall over to pick it up. At the blue line, gives it up to Erickson. And now Courtnall will take a penalty as he spins Broughton off his skates. And Courtnall may get more than two as he argues with Morrell. So far, he has a 2-minute minor penalty for spinning Paul Broughton around to the ice. And this will give New York the power play advantage.
Right there, Courtnall and Broughton collide along the boards, and Broughton then hauled to the ice by Jeff Courtnall. Morrell quick to make the call. And a late power play opportunity for the New York Rangers at the 16:26 mark of the second period in this 1-all hockey game. Jeff Courtnall's second minor penalty of this period. New York Rangers also doing a much better job of hitting the Capitals in the neutral zone. I don't think there was a single good, strong hit that the Rangers threw the other night, as the Capitals kept flying through that neutral zone at top speed. And that was such a key reason they got 49 shots on goal. They were almost unchecked in that neutral zone. Tonight, the Rangers doing a much better job not only of just checking and preventing some of those passes, but of actually laying people out. Bernie Nichols, on that last shift, caught John Druce with his head down and sent Druce flying.
Power play hockey, and right away it's turned out of the zone by Mike Ridley back into the Ranger end. Moeller works to center, off the stick of Ridley. Taken across the line, and Kelly Miller leads it ahead. Mike Ridley on the left wing. Here comes Ridley across the line. A slap shot. Hit the post. Ridley sends it right off the goal post. Back inside the Washington zone. Here comes Hatcher. Over to Langway. Played up the boards. And now Miller sprints to center ice. Kelly Miller held up at the blue line by Ogrodnik and taken over again by Mullen. Post chance for the Capitals again on that play as Ridley hit the post. Dead on. Caps cleared all the way down the ice. A minute to go in the Courtnall penalty. Nichols to center. Grabbed by Scott Stevens. He feeds Druce. Druce across the line, a wrist shot. Richter off balance, but made the stick save. Back comes Nichols now. Flips it on inside the Washington zone, and Liut puts it behind the net to Rouse. At the point, the puck cleared out of the zone by Tim Berglund. Here's Berglund, who has the Capitals goal. In across the blue line. Skates to the corner. Bumped on the play. Delayed penalty call coming up. And Nichols and Berglund bumping at the blue line, but the penalty is a New York call. And at 18:05 of the second period, the Rangers again will be shorthanded. Washington presented with a power play chance once Courtnall comes out in just 21 seconds from now.
Well, here's the penalty. Watch number 9, Bernie Nichols. They say he boards John Druce. Then Mike Ridley, before all that, with a shorthanded chance down the left wing, has Richter beaten. But like the Rangers had earlier, he finds only the post. And now Troy Millette, Mike, headed over to the New York Ranger dressing room. See if there's some sort of continuation of the injury that he suffered in apparently some sort of collision and contact with Scott Stevens.
Chris King had come out for a little while to play his spot with Gartner and Nichols, and now Millette into the dressing room. Here's one more look at the Ridley shot that hits the post. It's got Richter beaten on that short side. But you see there, I mean, he had almost no room at all to shoot. It's amazing that he even found the goalpost. Looks like Mike Richter had that played about 99% perfect.
Here's Rouse chasing it back to center ice. A minute 50 to go in the second period. In 10 seconds, Courtnall rejoins the Capitals, and they'll have the power play. Rochefort off the boards, out to center, taken by Rouse. Back to Bob Joyce. Here comes Courtnall back on the ice, and Washington is at full strength. Right wing pass for Hunter. Hunter gets across the blue line. Tied up on the sideboards, and now the puck cleared to center. There's Turcotte throwing it all the way down, and Liut makes the glove save. Power play hockey for Washington. Here's a lead pass from Hatcher out to Stevens. Now over to Courtnall. He's across the line, and it's hooked, and there's another penalty coming against New York. Randy Moeller gets the call, and he thought it was a dive. I disagree with Moeller, and I'll tell you something, Al. We said during the third game that we wondered if Dennis Morrell would be able to keep control of this game if it got real heated. I think so far he's had control of this game.
He has, and these penalties right now are putting each team in extreme jeopardy, and the Capitals now with the best opportunity of any power play situation all night, as they will have a two-man advantage at least for the rest of this period. A minute 2 left to go in the period. 1:07 left in the Nichols call, and now Moeller starts for the full 2 minutes. Can you imagine a power play goal here before the end of the period, and then if they can get something before Nichols comes out of the box to start the third period, they would be in dynamite shape. Concentrate on the matters at hand. 5-on-3 hockey. Capitals need to control this draw right now. It is not at the faceoff dot, a little higher up. So the Caps have to control and keep in. Get themselves a good shot.
The face-off location could be to Washington's advantage if they can get the puck to Courtnall quickly. He would then be able to skate it on the right wing, and Richter is trying to tell his Ranger teammates about that right now. Hunter to Hatcher, back to Stevens, keeps it in. Now over to Hatcher. Hatcher in behind the goal. To Druce, back to Kevin Hatcher. At the point, Scott Stevens, a slap shot. Richter the save, a shot, and a goal! The Rangers have 2 complaints. First, they feel the puck was batted into the net unfairly. And secondly, they feel that Richter was interfered with. And that's why all the pushing and shoving is taking place now. But the goal will stand. Washington leads 2-1 on the power play.
Address the first beat. Was this knocked in with the high stick? Hatcher back to Stevens. A drilled shot. Dale Hunter batting the puck.
You can't tell from that.
Shoulder. We'll see if this angle presents a better look at it. That drive comes in. It's chopped down once. Now that definitely right there, I don't think is a high stick, but when Druce chopped it down the first time, he chopped it into Richter.
That made it okay.
And that was okay.
So it is hit right there by Druce, and that is a legal goal.
Let's take one more look at it. Watch John Druce. Where is his stick? Well, right there, it's easy to see it was below roast beef number 2. So the Capitals still have 47 seconds left to go in the period, and they've got power play hockey to work with.
Great camera work from that corner by Bill Greenback of our home team sports staff. And you could see it clearly as it was knocked into the goal by a stick off the ice, but not a high stick, a legal goal. And then Hunter was pushed into the Ranger goalkeeper Richter. So New York should have no complaints. The correct call made. Here's Stevens across the line, and it's shot off the boards in front of the Washington bench. Now Hunter hit hard by Hardy right in front of the Caps bench. We're down to the final 17 seconds of play here in this period. Puck cleared all the way down the ice, and Stevens back to get it. The power play will continue for the start of the third period, but the Caps only 5 seconds left in this period. Hatcher misses a hit, but gets the puck ahead to Joyce. He throws to center ice, and time runs out in period number 2. Well, the momentum has certainly swung around to the Washington Capitals now. New York with 14 shots on goal in the second period for a 2-period total of 20. And the Capitals had 11 shots on goal, a 2-period total of 19. But 2 Washington scoring plays. Tim Berglund, and then a power play goal by John Druce, and the Caps lead 2-1 after 40 minutes. Back with more live exclusive Stanley Cup playoff coverage after these messages on Home Team Sports.